Hello everybody, happy Tuesday. Hope everyone's had a wonderful start to their week. I'm going to share this into my group before I forget, the Burnout to Breakthrough community. Okay. So I wanted to jump on and give you guys some love, give you guys some good information about creating content, because I sent out an email yesterday to my list, and I got a bunch of people commenting and saying and replying to that email saying this was such good information, this was so helpful, thank you. So I wanted to be able to kind of share and give you guys like a bigger breakdown of how I create some of my content and how I'm able to create so much different content for so many different platforms. Because if you're watching this and you're a content creator, you either create, posts and stuff like that for your social media, or you're creating courses, or you're doing all these different things. We can feel in a lot of the times where we feel like overwhelmed with how much content that we need to create, or we'll go into it and we're kind of like, what am I supposed to be posting today? What am I supposed to be doing? And being able to have yourself kind of have like a game plan with all this is super helpful. And I don't know, for me, something that I struggled with for so long was feeling that I needed to like constantly be like pumping out content, but then I felt really overwhelmed and I felt really stressed and I felt really burnt out from being able to need to be creating so much. And so I've really found a way and been able to create a way that feels just so much into flow of being able to put out content on a lot of different platforms. So, for me personally, I do a lot of things on Instagram. I do a lot of things on Facebook. I'll do a lot of different posts on, like to my email, and then there's courses, and then there's podcasts, and then there's Pinterest, and there's all these different platforms that we can use to be able to create content. So something that I think is really important for us to remember is the first thing is getting ourselves into a space of our environment feeling really, really good. Because when we are creating from a very energetic space. We're creating from a place of like that feminine flow and letting things feel good, right? Creative energy is definitely like a very feminine energy. And when we can embrace that, it's so much more helpful for us to be able to create content rather than feeling like, okay, like I have to post something or I have to do something. That doing energy is that very masculine energy, and it can feel really overwhelming to try to create from there. So for me, one thing that's really important is always getting back to my environment and getting back to my space and getting behind the intention of what it is that I'm creating, how I'm being able to put out content. Because if I'm doing it from a place of lack, or if I'm doing it from a place of like, oh gosh, I have to post, or I'm feeling really stressed or overwhelmed, like that energy is going to be radiating through my content. People are going to be able to feel that too. So if you feel like you're in that mentality of like, I have to post something, quality is going to be really helpful, but getting yourself into a space of creation first is key. So one of the ways that I'm able to do this, and as you guys jump on, you can say hello. One of the ways that I'm able to do this is I set up my environment to be creative. So at the beginning of the month, I do kind of like a big content planning session for the entire month, where I'm looking and seeing like, okay, what's going to be launching this month? What free challenges do I have coming up? What are some of the things in my courses that I'm going to need to be teaching? What's kind of coming up? But I have a bigger game plan. So I'm looking out a few months in advance as far as what's coming up, and I'm able to create and craft my content to be able to match that. So for me, and something that I teach as well, and I teach this to a lot of my clients, is what are the pillars of your brand? What are some of the different things that you have that you speak upon? So maybe if you're a mindset coach, maybe one of the pillars is you talk about money mindset. Maybe it's health, maybe it's business, whatever those different pillars are, right? Like we all have these different ones. Hi, Kaylee. And so we have to start thinking about, okay, what's on my heart, what's on my soul to share, but also how can I, serve my audience as well? Because that's what we're meant here to do. We're meant to serve. We're meant to, create. We're meant to help people, right? Like through what we've been through. So I like to do is I'm looking at my schedule and I'm saying, okay, this is what's coming up for the month. This is what's coming up in the next few weeks as far as maybe a program launch. And based on the pillars of my brand, based on the things that I have going on, I start to reverse engineer from there. So let's say if you have a program coming up and it's a health and fitness program, or it's a mindset program, or a lifestyle program, or something like that, thinking about the pillars of what you're teaching inside of that program and reverse engineering from there. So maybe like 50 to 70% of your content is going to be starting to bring awareness around some of the topics that you're teaching on inside of that program. So you're starting to pop into their brain a little bit, and you're starting to get them to think about that. So maybe you're sharing some stories around maybe some of the things that you're teaching inside the program. You start to lead up with that, and then you of course weave in the other pillars of your brand, or you're weaving in different stories and things like that, providing tips. So your content has a few different avenues. Some of it is more storytelling, some of it is more tips and things that have helped you, some of it is more so just lifestyle stuff and people getting to know you on that deeper level. So all of those things are needed as you're being able to pump out the content and be able to get it out there for the people and really lead them and get them into this whole vibe and this container that you have of whatever it is that you're putting out next. So I think that that's huge and really, really helpful, is to think about what is coming up as far as maybe something that you're launching and reverse engineer from there. So when I'm doing that, I'm breaking it down into like the next few weeks. So again, let's say if you have a specific program and you want to kind of break that down, let's say you have 4 modules of your program, for example, you have those 4 different modules out there, and maybe one week you're teaching about something around confidence, one week you're teaching around something with like money beliefs or whatever it is. Just brain dump from there, and just brain dump like all the things that you would think would be helpful for your audience, or all the things that maybe are a story around that. And then once you have it broken down by your pillars, you've created so much different content that's going to be able to lead those people up. I have like a nice little map that I share, which I'll tell you guys about that here in just a second. But it's so helpful and so good to just say, okay, based on what's coming up, let me break this down. Let's say there's four pillars, like I said, 4 modules, up into 4 weeks of content, and then you have 4 weeks of content that you can create from. So I'll brain dump everything and just say like, okay, what's in my heart? I've gotten myself into that creative space. I've usually done something for myself, gotten into that self-care. So I feel like I can create, because that's where I get a lot of my ideas from. And then I start to look at all of those brain dumped ideas, and I can say, okay, this might be better for a podcast. This might be better for a live video training. This might be something that I want to share in my group. This might be something that I send out in an email or a blog or whatever it is, and I kind of just am able to break it down from there. And then I put it into Asana as far as like a schedule of the things that I want to be able to talk about. So I definitely have like a nice flow with this, where it's just like me doing what feels good, but also having like a nice game plan, so I don't feel like I'm just like running in the wind of like, what am I going to do today? What am I going to do today? What am I going to do today? When I'm posting longer form content, like on Instagram or something like that, that's where I kind of just allow myself to post in the moment of something that I'm feeling, or maybe it's like a thought download that I had from earlier in the week, and then I'm messaging that to myself and being able to, use that at a later time. So there's definitely like, here's some strategy, here's some flow, and all in all, it's helpful. It's part of my brand, and I'm leading people, to learn something, and to be able to have an experience, to be able to have a breakthrough, to be able to gain really knowledgeable and tangible information. So start to break your stuff down by that. Start at the bigger picture, reverse engineer it a little bit, and then break it up into maybe what platforms this might be good to share on. And the beautiful thing about this as well is you guys can start to repurpose a lot of that information, and kind of cross-pollinate it on different platforms. So if you love to write, then you can take that post from an Instagram post and then put it into a blog post, drive traffic to it from Pinterest. Like, there's all these amazing things that you can do. Or maybe if you jump on a live video and you do a whole training, afterwards you can go over on your IG story and maybe do like a quick recap of some of the things that you're teaching upon. Because not everybody watches a live video from beginning to end. Some people listen to podcasts, some people watch live videos, some might jump on for a few minutes, or they might catch the replay. So if you can highlight some of that information on other platforms like your Instagram stories, and then be able to, share that and let people know, you can drive traffic to a lot of those different places. Sometimes if I'm doing a very specific training inside of my Facebook community, I'll talk about it on my Facebook personal page, or I'll talk about it on my IG stories. And so then same thing, you're funneling some of that traffic to get there. So that's kind of like a bigger kind of overarching version of how I create some of this content. Like I said, I put it into Asana, which is like a project management system, and I look at it, and I don't always follow it to a T, like, to be completely honest, but at least I know some things that I can talk about, or I have some ideas and I have some different things that are sitting there for me to be able to act upon. But then I'm not feeling like stressed out every single day of like, what am I supposed to post about? Because it all has this nice flow in this plan, and I'm able to kind of move through it that way. So I do this as well when it comes to creating a course. A lot of times I get a very strong download for some type of course that I want to be able to create, or some type of coaching experience, or some type of mentorship experience, or whatever that might look like. And I start to think about, okay, all right, here's the idea that I have. Now I got to start mapping it out, right? So if you're watching this and you're like, I have an amazing idea for a program, but I don't really know where to get started or what I'm supposed to do, start thinking about like what got you here, what got you to this point of your business, what got you to this point of this breakthrough that you had, or your health or your fitness or your mindset, what got you here? And so once you can start journaling on that, thinking on that, you can start to pinpoint some of the really transformational things that occurred into your life or that happened. And before you know it, you're breaking down different lessons and you're breaking down different modules. But if you start with what are all the things that got me here and you just let it all flow out, then after that you can start to say like, all right, this kind of all is a theme, this is all a theme, this is all a theme, and then you can lay it out so then people can have this nice crafted experience that they're able to go through. So you're thinking about within that too is like, what are some of the outcomes of the teachings that I have? You're selling people, right? Like the destination, this work, whatever you've been through has probably taken you a significant amount of time to be able to get to this point, and now you're breaking it down to be able to teach it for other people. So you're saving them time, you're saving them energy, you're saving them probably a lot of money, heartache, whatever that might be. So it's amazing to be able to put all of your knowledge, like you don't need to be the world's best kept secret anymore. You can share all of that into a nice crafted experience and then be able to build on it. So it's a good way to kind of just take everything that you have, map it out, and then be able to move people through an experience and be able to launch from there. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to kind of pull from courses and content and merge it all together so you feel like you have content literally for like months and months and months. Hi Brittany, I miss you. And yeah, that's how I kind of lay everything out on like a bigger sense. Obviously there's a lot more like nitty gritty that goes into it, which I'll be sharing that with you guys here in just a minute of how I'm going to kind of take you all through this. But yeah, I think that's basically all I kind of wanted to share with you guys today. Like there is a strategic part of it, of course, but you also have to have the energetics. You have to have the soul work. You have to have the trust and belief and, that belief inside of yourself and being able to put out content, being able to speak your truth and really step into your power and own the mission and the purpose and the gifts that you were given, and that you don't need to be the world's best kept secret anymore, because you have some magic inside of you that so many people need to experience, that so many people need to be able to be helped from whatever it is that your gifts are. Like you have to follow that calling, especially when you get those like intuitive nudges in your belly where you're like, I have to do this. This is something I have to put out. So that's kind of like the beauty in all of it. So I'm going to be taking you guys through my entire like content creation as far as like the spiritual energetic side and also the strategy side in my free challenge that I'm going to be doing next week. So I'll post the link here in the comments so you guys can see that, but it's a consistent content challenge. It's absolutely free. It's going to be 3 days. I'll just be sending it through via email so you guys can kind of watch it, and I'll be giving you some like workbook style stuff where you can brain dump and be able to map out content and start to think about this on like a really big and long level. So that way you feel like you have a game plan and you're not just like, what am I supposed to do today, and kind of flowing in that space. You have some nice strategy to go within that soul. So I'll post that in the comments below so you guys can kind of get access to that if you want to do it. Like I said, it's absolutely free, and we'll be talking all about content creation. And then I've gotten lots of questions about the Soulful Sales Accelerator, so I wanted to hit on those as well. So that program includes Burnout to Sellout. If you guys haven't done Burnout to Sellout, there's been over 30 women that have went through this program. I love it. It's absolutely amazing. I take you from the idea from creating a course or your next course or your next program through branding, launching, how to sell it, how to put yourself out there, how to kind of have it be this whole experience, and doing it in a way that feels really good. Because I know for me, I've launched in the past and it's felt really stressful and it's felt really overwhelming. So this is like my gift in beauty of being able to take people through this in a way that feels really good. So I have that program, and then also the Soulful Sales Accelerator, which is kind of like the next level of that. So even if you haven't done Burnout to Sell It, you can still do this as well. If you've done like maybe some other courses, or you're wanting to get things moving in your business a little bit more, it's really more so like a mentorship, and it's kind of like me in your pocket, being able to help and support you along the way. So it's like the closest thing to my one-on-one coaching, but you still get that mastermind feel because I'm only doing about 7 to 10 women inside of this container, so we can really get that hands-on mentorship. So you're going to be able to get, like that opportunity from me to like look at your sales copy, do content audits with you, like creating some different systems and funnels and passive income and all of that. That's what I, some of the things that I love to do. And we're going to take your whole entire business. It's like me in your pocket, and we're going to map everything out. We're going to go through like your launch strategies, and we're really going to talk about selling from the soul. I teach 2 methods inside of there, the souls method, which I have created, and also the PPP method, which is pleasure, power, and profit, and really understanding how to merge the places of you that feel good and for you to honor your gifts and honor all the things that you're doing into one place. So there's a lot of support that you're getting into that. There's a lot of mentorship. There's a lot of like coaching and getting feedback, and me like kind of sexing everything up for you a little bit and making sure that it's really sellable to whomever your ideal client is in that audience. So we go through the energetic stuff, but we're really going to get you some good systems for sustainability in your business, which is key, and making sure that you feel like you can have consistent income that's coming in and be able to scale your business to the next level. So I'm excited to bring all of that magic. It's very, very hands-on. It's very like deep. We go through a lot of stuff together. When I work with my clients, especially like on any sort of like deeper level or in any of my group programs, it's very, it's very hands-on. Like I want to be there for you. I want to be able to support you. I want to see everything from a whole bigger picture and be in this together, because that's where you're going to see your business jump and skyrocket. Like right now I have 3 of my one-on-one clients who have either surpassed or are hitting their first 10K months for this month. Some of them one of them just did it already, and 2 of them are like right on the verge of hitting it. And it's because they've had that constant mentorship from me. We're like really looking at all of this stuff. So I'm like, okay, how can I take that one-on-one experience and kind of bring it into this container where you get the support of other women, but you get the deep dive with me for 8 weeks. So that's starting on May 15th. You'll get some trainings and all of that inside of there. You'll get some pre-work to kind of get you started, because I know it's a few weeks from now, so you guys will have that support, and then we'll dive right into like the WhatsApp access and the one-on-one calls and the hot seat coaching and all of that. So if you guys have more questions, you can send me a message and we'll see if it's a good fit. I'm doing discovery calls for it as well. So if you'd rather just, chat with me for 15-20 minutes and make sure that it's the right next best step for you, then we can do that. And burnout to sell out will be starting a week after that. So if you guys are kind of in the newer stages of putting out your first course, or you're wanting to learn more about branding and energetics and selling and launching and all of that, that program will start 1 week after. But remember, if you're inside the Soulful Sales Accelerator, you get access to everything inside of Burnout to Sell Out as a bonus. So let me know if you guys have questions about that. And if you want to jump inside of the free challenge as well and kind of get a taste for my coaching style and everything, I'll post the link in the comments and you guys can check that out too. But otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm going to jump off and go do a call instead of burn and release. So I will talk to you guys soon. I love you, and thanks for jumping on. Bye.